I'm going to show you how I got the Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart Platinum Trophy. The Ratchet and Clank trilogy, which includes the original Ratchet and Clank, then Going Commando, and then Up Your Arsenal, are my personal favorite set of games of all time. So getting my very first platinum in the most recent installment of the over 20-year spanning series was a no-brainer for me. This game starts out with an intro parade which acts as a tutorial and introduces our main characters, with the usual protagonists throughout the series being Ratchet, as well as Clank, and followed by the main antagonist, Dr. Nefarious, who was also a staple in the series. This leads to Dr. Nefarious stealing the Dimensionator that was going to be a gift from Clank to Ratchet. This is what causes all the rifts to start spawning everywhere, and also leads us to introducing a new protagonist, Rivet, who we will also play as to help complete the story. This game has an easy platinum difficulty being a 2 out of 10, so it made for this platinum playthrough to be very fun. This game has a total of 47 trophies to collect, including the platinum, which I got by going through the main story, grabbing some collectibles along the way, and cleaning up any trophies I may have missed after I complete the story. To start this platinum journey, I collect my first trophy following the title card of the game, Rift Apart. This is where the game really starts, so I start out by exploring the world, and this is where I find my first collectible item, the golden bolt, which I get my second trophy for collecting. Continuing through the world, I fight some enemies and eventually come across my first spy bot, which grants me another trophy, and I'll need to collect all 10 of these for a trophy later on. Following this, I end up stumbling across my first hidden pocket dimension, which grants me another trophy. Right after this, I end up bouncing on a balloon and another trophy pops. And right after this one, I get to the end of the same hidden pocket dimension to find my first piece of armor, which pops another trophy. So many trophies popping in such a short amount of time had me like,
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
After this, I continue exploring the planet and stopped at the club to break it down real quick.
Hey, he ain't playing no games. What is that? What is that? Wait.
In the club, we see this phantom guy that we have to follow, which just so happens to be the GOAT himself, Skid McMarks.
It's him, Skid McMarks.
That man from the infobot.
In the flesh, little dude.
I have to chase him down, and eventually he stops and gives me the Phantom Dash, which allows me to dash through certain walls, as well as wall run to increase my movement. Following this, I do some more combat stuff with my newly acquired movement to help get Skid to where he needs to go, which leads to him giving me Glitch. After this, I go back to where I need to enter Nefarious' hideout and use Glitch to enter, which is a mini-game type section where I have to defeat viruses. These are all pretty easy, but get harder as the game progresses. After we complete that section, we break into Nefarious' hideout and steal his ship so we can escape the planet and search for Clank. Before doing that though, you know we had to drop off Nefarious real quick, which had him tweaking out.
After him! No!
So us escaping completes the first planet, and we end up switching over to our first Rivet planet. This game has different planets dedicated to both Ratchet and Rivet, and that's how we switch characters throughout the game. Exploring our way through this planet, we use this thing called a Speedle, which we essentially just turn into a Hellcat to get to her friends as soon as possible. Just like any good Hellcat story, we end up crashing out, but fortunately for us though, we are the main character. So we just take that to the chin like it's nothing to keep it pushing. This is where we stumble across our friends the Morts, and don't even get me started on what they built like.
No, 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 no.
But they end up needing us to save the rest of the people stuck in a dimensional anomaly, which leads to us doing our first Clank section of the game. This is also another mini-game section of the game that we have to do like the glitch ones mentioned before, which are also pretty easy, but they get progressively more difficult as the game goes on. Upon completing this section, we end up saving the Morts, and this gives us our next trophy, Quantum Mechanic, for repairing our first dimensional anomaly. After this, I run into a Secret mini-boss. During this fight, I get another trophy for getting a gun to the max level. A little after this trophy pops, I end up beating the Seekerpede, and another trophy pops for doing so. This wraps up this planet for now, and I head to the next one, where I end up getting my trophy, It's So Fluffy. I got this for finding my very first Krager Bear, which is another collectible item like the golden bolts. I have to collect all these bears for a trophy later on. In this same area, there is a battle arena, which I get a trophy for winning my first arena battle. Also in the battle arena, I end up getting a combat trophy for killing 2 enemies with 1 shot. After these trophies, I end up returning to the planet before this, Sargasso, and this is where I get a lot more trophies. The first of which I got was Feeding Frenzy. We're collecting 10 Zerp Stones, which are another collectible item, but just only on this planet. After this, I wanted to mess with my armor, and when equipping armor pieces, another trophy popped. Shortly after this, I go and buy a weapon I was saving up for, which led to another trophy because I completed my first weapon wheel. And at the same time as this, I was upgrading my maxed out weapon and I got another trophy. Continuing exploring Sargasso, I end up in Rivet's hideout, which I get a trophy for turning on her TV. I was flying around on this giraffe
It's a giraffe!
when I found a golden bolt, which led to me getting a trophy. I'm not sure why, but this is the last of all the golden bolt trophies, even though there's a lot more you can still collect. Also, while flying around on the giraffe, I get another trophy for killing 5 of these goonies. After this, I just continue doing some main story stuff and eventually come across my next trophy for zooming. Continuing kicking it with Team Umizoomi, I get another trophy for landing on this giant walking robot. The next trophy I come across is Sweet, Sweet Victory. Then I go to this drippy planet, Blizar, and get my next trophy for collecting phase quartz. My next trophy comes on another planet, which I got for meeting the Fixer. After this, I end up on another planet where I got a trophy for setting juice free. Now I end up going back to the arena to do some challenges and collect bolts. While doing this, I come across my next trophy for defeating a certain type of enemy 30 times. Also in the arena, I end up getting the Icebreaker trophy for killing 5 frozen enemies with my wrench. Continuing the story, I end up on this pirate planet. Upon completing it, I get the Rated R trophy. Get it? I have to go back to Sargasso that's being overrun, and I get my next trophy for saving the planet. The next trophy I get is for completing all the glitch side missions. Following this, I get the No Bones About It trophy for retrieving the dimensional map. After this, you already know I had to break in and out of the prison to free Gang, which resulted in my next trophy. These trophies wrap up the main story besides the final boss, which before doing, I go into the battle arena first. Doing so gets me the trophies Can't Stop Me, Life of the Party, and Hole Puncher. Now this is where I go take on the final boss, the one and only Dr. Nefarious. However, this Nefarious is from Rivet's dimension, so he isn't completely trash, and loses everything like the known one in Ratchet's dimension. But this fight has a couple of different phases, which starts with phase 1 being the power suit, which we have to break down, then teleport inside to destroy the heart. After this would be the next phase, where we have to fight him, which we end up slamming him. And this leads to the final cutscenes of the game, where the new Nefarious is shown at his final moment getting ended by the old one. And then the old one still manages to mess up somehow and gets crushed. But after these
Stepped on me. Stepped on me? Are you kidding? This guy was dancing on me. I mean, just look at this. Broken, broken, gone, gone, broken, broken, broken.
scenes finish, this is where I get my final main story trophy, 2 Fuzz, 2 Nefarious. And this is where we save the galaxy yet again. Now this will lead us into the cleanup section of the video, where we go and finish up all the trophies that I missed. The first of which will be the Max Relax trophy, for finding these goobers chilling by the hot spring. After this, I do some wall running and collect my 3rd Lombax Lore, which gives me my next trophy. After this, I go and do 5 trick jumps on a grind rail and got my next trophy for doing so. After this, I went back to Blizar to hit a crystal I missed, and I got a trophy for hitting every one of these crystals. Next, I returned to the battle arena, which has a jukebox, and selecting 3 songs gives you a hidden trophy. Following this, I end up finding my last Krager Bear, which gives me my next trophy. After that, I got another combat trophy for defeating 30 enemies that are turned into grass by a certain weapon.
You planted grass? Grass?
After this, I end up collecting my final spy bot, which allows me to purchase the Rhino.
Rip ya a new one.
What did you just say to me?
R-Y-N-O. Rip ya a new one.
Why, that's the most powerful missile launcher in the galaxy. I know it's worth a lot of bolts. He must have stolen it from the blarg.
Stolen. Look, trash can. Did I say's anything about it being hot? You better watch your mouth or I'll...
Wait, don't tell me. Rip you a new one.
This gives me the trophy Aim to Misbehave. After this, I went and purchased every weapon I could, which includes me starting the game over after beating the game to access 2 other weapons. And doing this gives me another trophy fully stacked. The last trophy I needed was return policy, which I had to upgrade a certain gun to the max level to be able to catch enemy shots and fire it back at them. And after a lot of reloading the game at the same spot to keep going to the same enemies, I finally killed the last one I needed and the trophy pops. And finally, this leads to platinum popping as well. Masters of the Multiverse.
Finally!
And with that being said, this wraps up the platinum trophy for Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be greatly appreciated, and subscribe if you want to see more platinum videos in the future. Thank you for watching.